Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, and Rovi, and today we're going to be talking about Brian Armstrong and Coinbase and Tornado Cash.
Yeah, we're back on it again, dude.
I feel like this is the fifth or sixth time we talk about Tornado Cash.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the single most important thing that's been happening in the crypto space.
Yeah, and everybody is still concerned. Like, what's the future of U.S. activities, I guess, in the broader Web3 arena, which, you know, the days are finally here. So I guess this is like a little bit of a pushback, right, from the Web3 community.
This is what I expected to happen.
Did you?
But I didn't really think it would come from Coinbase.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I feel like there needs to be some pushback in this scenario.
You did say that.
It has to.
You said something about like there needs to be some sort of like coalition or like, I don't know, collaboration amongst the Web3 ethos.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
yo,
because
this is fucked up, guys.
The U.S. is overstepping their reach.
Authority.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is like the nature of a decentralized protocol or whatever. It's not tied to any one singular, you know, governmental entity, right? It's a distributed host base, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the whole purpose of decentralizing these protocols, and a decentralized user base, right? So it's just not. But nonetheless, you know, the United States still does have the positioning to, I guess, like enforce their own citizens, I guess.
Yeah, which is such a weird dynamic. So let's first explain what's happening.
Revisit Tornado Cash?
We haven't we haven't talked about exactly why we're talking about it.
Oh, okay.
So Coinbase is helping sue the US Treasury over Tornado Cash sanctions.
Yep. And
so apparently some of the employees in Coinbase is part of this lawsuit. There's 6 of them, 6 individuals.
Yeah.
And I think 2 or 3 of them are from the Coinbase company. And all 6 have used Tornado Cash for legitimate purposes. One of them of which is sending funds to Ukraine, right? And they were trying to evade Russia hacking them or setting them as targets.
Yeah. Which is a valid use case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Coinbase is coming in and with their resources contributing to this lawsuit. And I have a thread here from Brian Armstrong, the CEO. And it says Coinbase is funding a lawsuit brought by 6 individuals challenging the Treasury sanction on Tornado Cash's smart contracts. And so to make a long story short, there's a section here on this article that summarizes the reach here. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so the plaintiffs contend Tornado can't be sanctioned because the agency's specially designed nationals and block persons list applies only to property or to foreign countries or foreign nationals that threaten America's national security.
Yeah.
So ultimately, is a technology like Tornado Cash.
Yeah, that was the first thing, I guess, that enters everybody's minds. Like, you can't sanction a technology, right? That's where everybody's a little sensitive about. But there is something there called foreign nationals that I kind of like interpreted as, you know, obviously it hasn't been
some sort of
established. Yeah, something outside. National refers to another country, right? A foreign national, like, you know, maybe a terrorist group or, I don't know, a country that's suspected of, you know, supporting terrorist activity, stuff like that, right? Some sort of group of individuals or participants within like an ecosystem of that could potentially be bad actors or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a little bit of a wiggle room, I guess, in that interpretation of, like, you know, decentralized protocols are not just technology. There's actual user participants as part of that to support that technology.
An entity known as a DAO.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they have their own DAO. Yeah. They have a token. Usually whenever a protocol is tokenized.
Yeah, but you would just be sanctioning a DAO. And so you could still leverage the technology. So,
well, what I'm saying is it gives them, I guess, potential viability for
to
like,
fire back.
Well, just to label like this technology as you know, a sanctionable entity.
Well, I feel like there's potential in what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, like this is what I'm assuming is going to be like their defense position. I don't know, because it's just getting started.
Yeah, I have a feeling the US Treasury is not aware of DAOs.
Oh yeah, right, dude. But you might be.
Not yet.
But they're gonna be made aware of it as like this is a potential, argument.
But if being a member of the DAO is just you have to hold Tornado Cash tokens, and so all you're doing as a treasury is you're sanctioning members of token holders, and ultimately that doesn't really solve their issue. So I don't know if that's going to hold a lot of water. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, it can or it can't. That's the point. And the reason to even bring it up in the first place is because this is going to set a lot of precedent of the future, right? How we're going to have a much clearer understanding of the United States positioning on everything that's being built in Web3, right? Based on cases like this. So I think that's why Brian Armstrong, he's one of the leading industry persons just from thought, from, servicing, money, everything, influence. So I don't know. This is one of these, shields that he's gonna have to die on, I guess, to try and protect the sanctity of.
And it's absolutely worthy. It's absolutely worthy because the United States, they're going to set a position, and that position clearly oversteps their reach, right?
Yeah,
and the whole point of our, I guess, political system is to battle in courts, which sets precedents.
Yeah.
And so if nobody fights back, the precedent is that the Treasury could sanction any technology.
That's right.
And so somebody has to push back, and therefore we have Coinbase.
Yeah, everybody's at risk, basically, like depending on how this case ends up, right?
Yeah.
And then they also have like a personal interest, like you said. They have employees, like probably people close to Brian Armstrong who are like being impacted by this. So he probably feels a personal involvement as well.
Yeah,
and because there are valid users of the protocol, and it just feels a little dirty, like the way the United States just kind of like just brought this out of nowhere and just. Fully attack mode.
And I don't really understand like the purpose of this, because all they've done is make Americans, I guess, like illegal in interacting with this protocol, but it did nothing for the North Koreans. So it's like I don't understand like the purpose. It's like, why make only Americans like illegal? Like what is the point of it?
I mean, I think just the activity itself is what they just don't agree with. It's just, it feels like a,
Yeah, but it just makes
Americans. You asked the question, like, is money laundering like a national security threat?
Yeah.
And
it can be.
Yeah,
it can be.
Yeah, because it kind of like muddies, like, I don't know, defense entities or like intelligence agencies' ability to like identify where funding sources. From bad actors, like where they're being sourced from, a protocol like this is going to give them much more accessibility. It is a useful tool in that sense to like evade that type of intelligence gathering.
It is. So, but it's also a privacy tool.
I know. Yeah.
Right.
It's one of these double-edged swords.
Privacy is not illegal.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Somebody brought up was like, oh, just because somebody used the bridge to like, commit some sort of terrorist act. Do you like ban bridges?
Yeah, right.
Like, it's a good point, where do you draw the line? It's a slippery slope thing, dude. Everything always ends up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you deem this protocol, this functionality, this service, this decentralized service as like something that's not.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you brought up such a good point.
Where do you draw the line?
It's like 9/11 happens. All of a sudden, all planes are banned.
Yeah,
like, does that really make sense?
Yeah, because planes are obviously very useful, right?
Right.
But like, if all of a sudden there was a pandemic of like plane hijackings, like, then maybe it's like, okay, it overweighs the usefulness of them.
Yeah,
I don't think that would ever happen, but nonetheless, like, where do you draw the line?
Yeah,
it's just,
you can't ban planes, and therefore you can't ban Tornado Cash.
Yeah, you fuck up everything if you ban planes.
Yeah. So, I guess that settles that, right?
Well, but it doesn't. But it doesn't. Because,
open and shut case.
But it's not. It's never like that easy,
But it should be, because we have precedents already.
Oh, which one? Of what?
Of people using money or fiat currency for illegal activities, right? You can't ban cash.
That's true.
We had 9/11. You can't ban planes.
That's right.
We have people killing people with cars. You can't ban cars. Like, why would you ban technology?
Yeah.
Right? So I think we've have several centuries of history of technology not being banned, even though it's been misused.
Yeah. But
open and shut case, Johnson.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Maybe Coinbase should bring you in.
Yeah, right.
We'll see, dude. But I mean, but you're right. This is a very valid fight for all of us to kind of get behind.
Yeah, it just seems
one way or another. I mean, obviously, we're not freaking funding, lawyers.
Yeah,
we're not all in Coinbase's position where we could just yeah, dude, you guys going to court? We got you, bro.
Yeah, we got $400,000 for you to use.
Yeah, dude, no biggie.
A couple hours.
Yeah, so we can't help in that sense, but yeah, doing what we're doing, talking about it, and discussing these things, coming to a consensus as a community.
Yeah.
Is a big deal, so that we can all come to an aligned understanding of what it is, the ethos is of Web3. Are we actually all trying to create disruptive channels to what established governing bodies are not used to?
Wasn't one of the Tornado Cash guys, one of the founders, arrested?
I actually do not know. I
think they got arrested. I don't know if it was because of these sanctions in those other countries. Those countries misunderstood what these sanctions were.
Okay.
But one of the guys got arrested.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so I need to look into that. So what exactly happened?
Yeah, it's getting squirrely now.
Yeah.
It's getting ugly. Hopefully this doesn't turn into a Silk Road type situation where somebody gets locked up for the rest of their life. I mean, if it does, that's even uglier.
Yeah.
Goddamn, the United States or whatever.
So
hopefully this doesn't happen. That's gonna just muddy again the reputation of the Web3 initiatives.
Yeah,
it's gonna prevent people from wanting to even trust decentralized protocols. Shit, what if I I get sanctioned for using some sort of DEX or something in the future? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just because I want to participate in the ecosystem, right? It's fuck.
Yeah.
That's gonna help. That's gonna slow down and hamper adoption across the board. Right. Yeah,
and the technology argument, I wonder what they were thinking. I was like, let's sanction this technology. They're sitting in this room, right, in a round table with 6 other dudes.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I think we should just sanction a technology.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I don't know
and
how
all its peoples.
Yeah, I don't know how you just come to that conclusion, in that round table, without thinking about everything that's happened in history.
I don't know, dude. But
the
point is it happened, so we have to react, and it's good that they're standing up for their personal rights because the Treasury makes these threatening statements of not wanting to support criminals, essentially criminal activity, but not everyone's a criminal, so you can't just throw people on that criminals list. So that is a violation of individual freedoms and rights and stuff like that. So these are. In that sense, I think they are going to get a lot of positioning, and they probably will win that argument.
Yeah, I mean, if you read the second tweet from Brian Armstrong, he says, "We support the Treasury sanctioning bad actors that have worked closely with law enforcement to help bring many bad actors to justice. But the Treasury sanctions in this case hurt many law-abiding citizens, in addition to a few bad actors, and we believe it exceeds their authority."
Owned.
So, of course, everyone is aligned here with trying to stop money laundering.
Yeah.
But this is definitely, overstepping bounds.
Yeah.
And it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But
so what comes from if these Coinbase guys win this case, what's the best case scenario you think?
Well, it won't be sanctioned because you can't sanction a technology, but I think what needs to happen is
it's not going to overturn anything that's already happened.
Well,
right?
I think it would.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's the whole point of this lawsuit.
If that's the case, then this is bigly.
Yeah, because the judge would say yes, the US Treasury overstepped their bounds. This was an illegal action of what this is an action that was not possible, not within their range.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they would just overturn it.
Oof. That's big, man.
Yeah.
And so
this is probably a multi-year thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's how.
Legal processes work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we'll follow along and keep up with it, and I think this is going to be like a permanent fixture, I guess, as part of like the conversations, especially during this bear market, because it just contributes more to the bearish sentiment. Maybe it might be a catalyst on the other side. Like if maybe within the next 6 to 12 months we do get a ruling on this case, and it's like, oh shit, the government's actually going to step back a bit because they were wrong.
Yeah.
And then maybe developers will feel confident again to like start experimenting and creating new innovative products and stuff like that. That's could be catalyst juice for the next bull cycle.
It's so easy to come up with these examples. I mean, even Brian Armstrong, he comes in with blockchains are not going to be open ledgers forever. Just like the internet moved from HTTP to HTTPS, which is just encrypted communication, blockchains are going to move towards a more private transactions over time. And this is a good thing for consumer protection. We should encourage it and not hinder it.
Yeah.
Same thing when the Manhattan Project, right? Developing nuclear technology.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, it was misused, right? The United States dropped some bombs, right?
Yeah.
But then in other cases, like you can leverage the nuclear technology for energy. And
but wasn't the Manhattan Project like specifically for like weaponizing it?
Yes, it was.
So it was actually used properly. Just
technically, yeah.
Yeah, that was the whole
used
purpose.
properly.
But of course, it opened a whole can of worms of like no return.
Utility.
Yeah, there's a point of no return once you do some shit like that, and we're still stuck in that scenario forever.
Yeah.
But
there's some good use cases that came from nuclear technology, right? Energy.
Well, they say the reason why, or people say this, I don't know, like the reason they feel confident a world war will never happen again is because of the
mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, like so maybe if 1,000 years from now, if that ends up being true, then we'll look back as like nuclear devices is like the most positive thing we've ever done.
That's
just to like make sure we don't like extinct ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that covers everything. I figured this was very interesting to bring up only because, it seems so obvious. That seems the most important phrase of this week.
Yeah.
But that's good that Coinbase is like fighting back.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so we'll see what happens, see how that develops, and let's just move on from here, dude. Shit.
Yeah, I feel like
it doesn't change anything, really, to be honest.
No, it doesn't.
At least not from our perspective. But, from like a market-wide sentiment perspective, it changes a lot, like I said.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Let us know what you think. Do you believe Coinbase is going to win this battle against the US Treasury? Let us know in the description below on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Twitter @TheBlockRunner and also at MetaZone.io and Roby AI. And we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.